Hi guys, and welcome to the first episode of The Alliance, the cartel killers, Forest, Villa, and Newcastle. But how strong is this alliance? Because we can't all qualify for Champions League. Let's get into it. Evening, everybody. Hope you're doing well, and welcome to the show. Welcome to Wednesday. Welcome to Europa Cup final day. El Crapico. A lot going on today. Hope you're well. Make sure you've hit the like. Make sure you're subscribed. Both Josh and Pete's channels are in the description. All you got to do is go click on them. Loaded Mag for PE and Villa from the stands. That's what it's short for, isn't it?
Thanks. Yeah,
Huh?
that's spot. That's
I
spot.
got it. Got it. We got Josh as well. And all season we've had alliances, and then Pete's broke it a couple of times. Josh has broken one with me, and what have you. And now we've made it to the crunch game, boys. And we got to discuss this because, look, joking aside, I really want our three teams in. And now, thanks to Bournemouth, it's still mathematically possible, but improbable is probably the right word. I don't like this overlay thing, but let me get rid of that. How you boys seeing this, man? Because that game yesterday has screwed it up. There's no real scenario unless Forest score about 1,000 goals that we all get in. So let's start with the take on these games. We've got the fixtures up here. We got the table standing, boys. Pete, what are you saying, man? Because you've been showing a lot of chess this week, bro.
Nah, you see, you're getting it confused. It's not chess at all. I'm just confident that my team can get the job done, that we can get over the line. We've proven it this season by putting a trophy in the cabinet. When the boys needed to turn up, they did, and they got the job done. Just go back to a couple of weeks ago against Chelsea at home. Massive game. Just as big. That game was just as big as what it is, maybe not as big, but close to is what your game is going to be on Sunday against Chelsea. But we turned up at home. We got the job done. Now you're asking me to do that against Everton, and I'm confident our boys can do it. That's not overly. I'm not being over. This is the thing. I try not to be over confident with it. I'm trying to come across that way. I just, for the first time in a long time, supporting Newcastle United, I actually back my boys to do the job. Now, if they don't, egg on my face, egg on the players' face, the fans' face. We've messed up, but I don't believe it's going to be the case. I believe we've got more than enough to beat Everton. So, it could go so many different ways, but I'm always going to back my boys to do the job, and I maintain that up until Sunday evening, when hopefully we're playing Champions League football next season.
I mean, people are saying Lions is cracking at half time. What's your take on it, Josh? Let's cover off Newcastle first. Like Everton, there, Tarkowski's out and Braithwaite is out, I think. I'm still waiting for Everton Mike to confirm. Is that what you're hearing, Pete?
Well, yeah, he came off with a hamstring injury. I think he did his hamstring during the game, and they took him straight off. So, look, we know the situation with hamstrings. They don't just repair and recover just like that. They're at least a 2-week job. I mean, you boys will know that with what you're going through with Murillo. He looks like his hamstring's hanging on by a thread the way he's been playing, but he's still been soldiering on. But I don't see. I'd be shocked if Braithwaite plays. And beyond being honest, Wolfie, what have they got? Like, what have they got to play for that are gonna?
Don't fall into that trap. I fell into that trap.
What I'm saying is like, what have they got to play for that they're willing to put him in harm's way? If that was us, and we're fighting for Champions League, or if they're fighting to stay in the league or to get European football, I would probably expect them to patch him up and throw him out there. But because they've not got anything to play for now, why would they put him in harm's way where if he does it and he's out for 3 months, that then screws them going into next season? So that was me. Not that they've not got anything to play for in all that jazz, because I know where you go with it, Wolfie. I know where you're going with it.
It hurts when it happens, bro. It hurts when it happens. What was your take, Josh, on the Newcastle situation? Are you let's just put the Alliance stuff for aside for just a second, right? But are you targeting them because you are now in the situation after yesterday where it's not in your hands anymore? Technically, you need me, Josh. You need me.
Yeah. I've been telling you that all week though. I need you. Newcastle. Let's have a look at Newcastle then. So my honest opinion has been this: is that I've always said I always had Newcastle and Man City to finish above Villa, and I always said it'd be Villa, Forest, and Chelsea scrapping for fifth. But look, if I wanted to have a cynical edge or approach on Newcastle, probably the biggest thing for me is home pressure, final game of the season, expectation. I've seen my side crumble under expectation and pressure. Wolfie, you've seen your boys the last few weeks crumble under that expectation and pressure. It can hurt. Everton, as you said, when you look at a team who's got nothing to play for, it's dangerous at times because players can play with freedom and creativity, and it could be one last jolly before they have their nice little summer break, play a bit of flair ball. All of a sudden, Moyes is going into that season going, there's something there. However, on paper, you're ticking Newcastle all day long. You're ticking Newcastle left, right, and centre, 3 points in the back. They look really good in front of goal against Arsenal in terms of that clinical sort of desire to score. Obviously, David Raya had a brilliant game. And I can't say that they were clinical in front of goal, but what I mean is the chances they were creating, they looked dangerous, they looked deadly away from home. Has that game sucked anything out of Newcastle? To be seen. So, look, I just hope Newcastle can handle the pressure. I hope they can handle, and they've got the minerals, and we don't see a sub on the time. That wouldn't be very nice again, and I'm sure Villa fans have got that flag
already.
I just started to like you, Josh. This is meant to be a line. And you're cracking things up.
I'm sorry. The Alliance, throwing the Alliance side though. In all seriousness, I have
got 7 minutes, man.
7 minutes. I have got Newcastle winning at home, unfortunately, but we can all play for a bottle job and pressure. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I have got them going through. Yeah.
So you got Newcastle in, yeah?
I have, yeah.
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 Okay, that means. What does that mean? I'm trying to think here, like in your head, what's working out, because your record at Old Trafford ain't great, bro. In recent years, you bowled it 2-0 up. Was that last season? That one, 2-0 up and lost 3-2.
Yeah, that 3-2 one was horrific, actually.
And they were crap then as well. You're looking at
they did the double over. United were one of the teams to do the double over us last season, which is unbelievable again because, as you said, they're crap. And that was something that hurt us, that United actually did the double over us. Tonight is going to... I don't know if tonight influences Sunday. Some people are trying to tell me that if Man United win, they're on the piss, they're on the hangover, they don't give a crap, blah, blah. If Man United lose, is it going to be down depression, or are they going to come back with one last performance just to say, but their league position really doesn't mean anything? So I can't tell what I'm meant to be getting from this Man U side. I really can't. But records haunt people. You've all got your bogey team. You've all got your team that you cannot beat, the team that you hate facing. Ours has been clearly this year, and for the last couple of years now, is Crystal Palace. I'll be honest, Man United's probably the second bogey team. Palace is probably our second bogey.
What happened this season with you in United at Villa Park? Genuinely, I can't remember.
It's good you put me on. I think we beat them at Villa Park. Did we draw? No, we drew.
I'll check. Carry on.
It was a 0-0. I've got a feeling it was a really boring, gutless 0-0 or something like that, or 1-1. I think it's
Man United.
Yeah.
At Villa Park, it was a terrible game. From what I remember, it was a terrible
Sunday game. It was the early kickoff on a Super Sunday after the Champions League, and it was like...
Bro, it was 0-0, October.
Yeah, honestly, it was a terrible game. And I think it's where Ten Hag put a couple of average results of no losses together, and it kept him in the job a little bit longer. And I was looking at going, this is a really... So yeah, it just shows how bad United are. But Michael has made a great point. We'd only have one win against Spurs in 10 years at home. Unbelievably, Spurs have been dusty this year and we swiped them out. So I think people are unsure. Basically, the question to you two would be, would you put your money on Villa winning at Old Trafford? If I said to you, £1,000 money on, are you doing that? Or is it too much of a risk still in your head? to go, don't fancy it.
Pete, what are you saying? I don't know. I don't know, bro.
I saw your reaction, Wolfie, to realizing that they drew 1-1. Sorry, 0-0 at Villa Park, and I
that
could see
surprised me.
your cogs were turning there with the possibilities. I can see what you were doing, but look, if I was a betting man and I was going to put a bet on that, I would be swaying more to a Villa win than a Man United win. But the reality is that you have to win. Like, a draw could be enough for any one of us in this situation to ensure
Not
that
me.
we win the Champions League. Oh, do you need them to lose then?
Yeah, a draw for me would the only way a draw works would have been if City no, I can't have a draw. No, a draw would no. Sorry.
You'd still have to win.
I need to win, yeah.
Okay. So I mean, yeah, okay. So there's a possibility then. There's a possibility that a draw could still be enough for Villa, but I would back you over Man United. However, a lot of people are saying that if Man United lose tonight, which I don't think they will, but if they lose tonight, they're going to want to come out and prove something and play better, and it could be a negative for Aston Villa. I actually think the opposite. I actually think if they win tonight, I think they're going to bounce into Sunday. And that's a different Man United that you're going to be up against, because it's Man United with a trophy in the cabinet, Champions League secured. And I think they're going to want to then continue that and go out on a high with the Premier League season, knowing that they're going to invest heavily in the summer and they want to kick on. So I actually think that could be and with them winning tonight, which again, I think they will, that could be a negative for Villa. But look, regardless of that,
they're so unprofessional, though, aren't they? I look at that United. I look at that United changing room as a really toxic, negative, unprofessional. Do as I want, how I please. I cannot see those players not going on the piss for the next couple of nights if they win. Do you know what I mean? Like, as you said, like I'm not even joking. You know, you win the cup. You know, in the Champions League, the league position means nothing. Nothing at all. Go on the piss, Bruno. Go get drunk for 3 days, please. I beg you. Anana, I would love to see Anana half cut. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's bad enough sober. Get that guy in goal, and he might try and swap with Amadou Anana and think he's playing CDM for us. Do you know what I mean? It's great.
So you want them? Wait, do you want them to win or lose, Josh, tonight?
Well, tonight?
Yeah.
There's only one answer. You can't have Spurs winning the trophy before us. Man United can win trophies and be crap, and they do that. They did that with Ten Hag in the FA Cup, and people have just got accustomed to it. Tottenham winning trophy is close to an apocalypse and the world ending, and we all need to hold our loved ones and make sure we're all okay, because they don't win trophies. And if they win it before my club, Pete's all right, because his club's got over their voodoo this season and can say, hey, we've actually got a trophy in the bag. Yeah, but my club, we're nearly 30 years. And I'm jealous of Newcastle. I'm jealous of Crystal Palace. And I hate to say this, but if Spurs win it, then that's 3 teams that have just pipped Villa to a trophy in our best era. Yeah. So
and you should be jealous of us because we've won a major trophy more recently than you have as well.
Yeah, just remind me, Wolf, which one?
Yours was 84, wasn't it? Your last major, something like that.
No, the FA Cup 94. All
right, move on.
Yeah, so no jealousy. It's cute that you tried to do that, but that's fine. Just
I'm just checking the facts. Let me just catch up on a couple of super chats. Jay, big up to Jay with the £2. He goes, can't believe that clown is in charge on Sunday, Wolfie, bro. We got freaking the bold idiot, man. What's his face? Anthony Taylor, the one who screwed us against Everton.
Ooh,
yeah, him.
He's bad.
Yeah,
I hate when he refs him.
Hey, how is he a ref? I just don't get it. I really don't. Jay, big up to you for the £2. Ben with the $4.99. He goes, Pete, if Wood scores Sunday and equals Isak's 21 goals, who would your striker be in for team of the season? And you can't say Isak because you support Newcastle. He's kind of leaving you one option, bro.
Yeah, he is. I mean, you could throw out Haaland, as the other option because of goals. But not Wolfie, you'll know this because I've said it on Loaded. I've said it on 12th Man. Like I'm not seeing anything from Haaland in game. Even last night, watched the game last night. Like in game, he's doing nothing. So yeah, look, a 21 goal haul for Chris Wood in the sort of twilight of his career, ex Newcastle as well. For Chris Wood, of course. Fully deserves it after he's out, of course. I'm not allowed to say it, but fully deserved because he's had a sort of a career high season and been the catalyst for you being where you are right now. Fair play to him. Look, Newcastle fans got a lot of love for Chris Wood because let's not forget he came to us when he didn't have to, when we were in relegation battles with his team at the time.
You bought him just to relegate Burnley, didn't you?
Well, who knows?
Real, man.
Who knows? But I don't think any Newcastle fan was bothered at that point. But he came over to us, and yes, he didn't bang in the goals that he's doing for Forest, but he played a lot of key important roles in getting us 3 points and lifting us up the table to safety. So he went with our blessing. He's got massive respect. That respect went down just a little bit when he scored that hat trick against us at St James's. But look, all jokes aside, he's had a superb season. Fair play to him.
Fantastic. Wolves F1 with the 260. He goes Forest winning. What happens? Newcastle Villa. No, I think it means no clue. Bro, we're gonna talk about the permutations in just a second. We've already got over 250 in here, and we're on 50 likes, guys. So make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to Loaded Mag and to Villa from the Stands. The links are in the description. Takes 2 seconds. Go show them some love and subscribe to their channels. Josh, question here from you from Geordie Toon for Life. Question for Josh: have you had an alliance with Chelsea? We haven't, but someone on the panel has. Only saying. Okay, that's lies, but I'll let Josh answer.
You'll never see me have an alliance with Chelsea. Look, if my club want to do some PSR dodgy business with Chelsea every now and then, you got to be ruthless and cutthroat at it. But listen, when you get me one sensible Chelsea content creator who will not ignore the fact they spent 1.5 billion, they will not ignore the fact that they keep crying about needing X, Y, and Z. When they keep crying about the fact that we finished 2 seasons in a row above them, the list goes on. All right, when we can find no discussion, that'll be good. But no, look, there are some good. We had a good bit of Chelsea banter this season, but I'd rather have an alliance with Wolves, to be honest, than Chelsea. Yeah.
Big up to Sam with the raid. It's pretty obvious what he's asked them to spam the chat with. So you lot all get that middle finger. Absolute bastards. Absolute bastards. Big up to you guys. Guys from my channel, make sure you subscribe to Sam as well. Bloody hell, man. I've never seen so many cherries in my life. Right? Chill, you lot. Chill. My God, the cherries are crazy in there, man. There's more cherries in this chat than they can fit in that crappy stadium of theirs. I'll tell you that much, man. All right. We get it. Freaking cherries. Boys, I want to talk about, and I don't really want to talk about, but Forest's chances of making Champions League. We were 93.3% certainties. We're now 28.6%. That's up from 15%. Silver linings, right? What are you boys saying on our chances? Our permutations of this is simple now. We have to beat Chelsea, which we will because Chelsea are a just joke of a club. And we then need one of you two not to win. I hate to say that, but if we catch Man City, they've got us on goal difference. What are the chances, boys? Speak to me.
Before we get to that, who out of the two do you not want to win?
Okay, we'll get to that.
The Alliance, he's buying himself some time.
The Alliance is. I gotta figure it. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna put a poll up. Right, who would you rather missed out, Villa or? Actually, I'll put all three. Right, if you're gonna pick someone to miss out, and I'll put Chelsea as well. Wait, how do we do this? Let's just keep it to us three. Who do you think will miss out? Who do you want to miss out? Forest, Villa, or Newcastle? Because at least one of us is missing out. But boys, give me like some hope. Like, how does this go down for Forest?
Goes down like this. The Midland Revival.
Okay.
The Midland Revival.
I'm listening.
You scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. All right. So what's going to happen is you're going to beat Chelsea for us, and it's going to be bloody fantastic.
Yeah.
We're going to beat Manchester United, and then that curse, and that leaves just Pete's team. Yeah, that leaves Pete's team.
Wait, how are you scratching my back in this scenario, Josh? I'm a little confused.
Because I'll tell you why. Because we are rent-free in Newcastle's head. And when that early goal goes in at Old Trafford and the crowd get a little bit, and Forest get a goal, and all of a sudden everyone on their phones at St James's Park is trying to get the Wi-Fi and the signal to work, and it transmits onto the players, and all of a sudden we score a second, Wolfie, and you score a second. That's how we're going to be scratching each other's backs, and it's going to send those absolute waves to St James's and crash and burn. And I'm just trying to think, Wolfie, is there an ex-player in your from Forest who plays for Everton? Likewise, yeah.
Oh, so, Jimmy.
Because are you starting to see? This is where
Jimmy Garner.
Because Ashley Young. Ashley Young loves the Villa. I really hope Ashley Young doesn't have his moment. Do you know what I mean? Idrissa Gana-Gueye. What a player he was in our relegation season. If we have to find a highlight, it's him. There's players there, so we've got to scratch each other's backs in that way. But if Villa concede or you concede, then Newcastle are laughing, aren't they? And that's the worry of it, is that they know they're in bloody tuna. And we all know that happens, right? We're all going to do it as fans when we're watching the games on Sunday, right? We're actually going to be more bothered about everyone else's scorelines than our own game. So I
hear you, because like if Forest can be like 3-0 up at half time, I'm watching your two's matches, man. I'm like what are we doing here?
Change the watch on over Wolfie and just rechange the title on your screen.
I hate final day matches, man.
So
you're saying we get in because Newcastle don't, Josh?
Funny things have happened, yeah.
Because you need me, Josh. Let's not forget, you need me.
I need you. I need you badly. So, we formed our alliance, and I'd hate for it to be broken on this last run. So it's worked. The alliance has got you into this. Wolfie, think about this. You must have thought you were dead and buried from a UCL possibility. You must have thought it was gone, mate. You gave up hope. I've seen the videos. You gave up hope. You gave up that.
I may have lost my shit a couple of times then.
Yeah. And together we've both stuck out with it, and it's gonna come to fruition. The only thing is those goddamn cherries, a fruit that I won't touch again this year because of the letdown they had of not dismantling the Cartel 6.
Pete, he's made a good case to me. What's your case here, man? I'm assuming you may say something different here.
What is going on here? It's like the Newcastle hate is crazy. But
I ain't said nothing, man. It's all Josh right now.
Josh, your well laid out plan will probably fall flat around the time where you talked about Newcastle trying to listen into the scores and the panic. Because if you've ever been to Newcastle, St James's Park has no Wi-Fi whatsoever.
Yeah,
so nobody can get a signal.
Same as the City ground, man.
Know what the scores are at any point, so they'll be cheering on the
old-fashioned radio. There's got to be some of an old-fashioned radio there. That's the drama I want to see. A big headset by the year. That's the one.
There'll be an old boy somewhere in the stadium. I imagine so. Maybe an Everton fan. Who knows? But look, it's a compelling case. It's a compelling case. I actually think Forest win against Chelsea.
Okay, I'm listening.
I do. I've said it to you anyway, but like I genuinely see Forest winning. I was kind of in the build up to this weekend, sort of from last week into this week. I was kind of umming and ahhing about because Chelsea are in a little bit of form, this, that, and the other. But that win on Sunday, I think, will propel you to go on and win. That's my opinion. I think you've got enough there. I think Murillo will be fit. I think you've got pretty much the full strength squad to choose from. Callum Hudson-Odoi is back. I think you guys are going to go out and win the game. It means that you're still going to have to rely on other teams to drop points. And this is where the alternative pops in. Because I can imagine Bruno Fernandes
Ooh.
oiling the trophy onto the Old Trafford turf, full of pride and happiness that he's delivered for his fans. Fans are jubilant, celebration mode, the atmosphere's up. There's an early goal. Handball in the area. Bruno Fernandes steps up and slots it home.
And misses again.
And
Like Emmy
slots it
Martinez
home
does
this
it done.
time.
You hear the fear in Josh's voice there, Pete?
Yeah,
No fear.
slots it home.
Emmy lives rope free.
I also have this vision of a deep line free kick swung into the area. Harry Maguire, big slab head into the far corner. 2-0 at half time. Panic stations. I can see it. I can see it. And that could mean that Nottingham Forest could be joining us as the alliance in the Champions League. It's just a vision I have. It's just a vision. Could be wrong. I'm just laying out that vision for you, Wolfie. So you got to decide, Wolfie, which vision, mine or Josh's, which one do you
I don't know, bro. You can't do this to me, man. Like, this breaks friendships and stuff, not just alliances, man. Like, I'll tell you what the chat is saying, right? By the way, we've got 500 in here. Big up again to Hassam for the raid. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to Loaded Mag and Villa from the Stands. Links are in the description. Show them some love. This is interesting, boys, right? The viewers, and like, let me know in the chat who you support. Are you Forest, Villa, Newcastle, or Chelsea? There's a few Chelsea ones in there. Because 45% want Villa to miss out. On my own channel, in second place is Forest with 31%, right? And only 23% want Newcastle to. Oh man, this is why, man. I got the Chelsea invasion in here, man. That's what's going on. The Chelsea invasion are all in here. Like, okay, Villa.
That makes sense for us. That makes sense why Villa are getting hate, because of the Chelsea feud that I've had with them as well. So I take it as a compliment. So I appreciate that. Basically, all the chat have said, who is the scariest club out of Villa, Forest, and Newcastle? Who do you fear the most? Who do you actually know that if they're more of a competitor to your club? Oh, Villa. Chat, it's a pleasure. I take it as a compliment. Chelsea fans, I know we're red for red, because if we finish 3 seasons in a row above you, Chelsea fans, you know you must go into hiding. You know you probably cannot talk to me on another stream for a season in fear of it being 4 in a row. Like that's guys, picture this. The mighty Chelsea, 3 seasons in a row. Pete, you must be close to doing that as well to Chelsea, aren't you? Finishing above them.
They didn't last year. They didn't last year.
Oh no, we didn't.
Yeah.
Last year. Yeah, we did the season before that, but yeah. It's all right. We can start that. We can start that roll on again.
You know what, Pete? This is true. I've heard this a lot, right, from the Liverpool and Chelsea fans, that there's this vendetta against Newcastle because if you miss out, they want to raid Isak from you. And they're saying it now in the chat as well. Is that Chelsea and Liverpool fans in the chat? Is that your agenda here, the Isak agenda? What are you saying to that? I still don't think he goes.
No, this is the thing, and I think it was. Aside from the account you just put up, mentioned that if Newcastle miss out on Champions League, it will lower Newcastle United's price. It won't. Like, 2 things. Isak is not leaving Newcastle United this summer, whether we get Champions League or not. He will stay at Newcastle United. The second thing, he's got 3 years left on his contract. Regardless of whether we get Champions League or not, the fee that we want, which will be astronomical, by the way, nobody is going to want to pay that, and that fee won't change because we will want Alexander Isak to fire his Champions League next season. If you're all going in, if this is a year later and we're fighting out for Champions League and we miss out with him with 2 years left on his contract, we're probably having a different conversation here. But the fact that he's still got 3 years left on his deal actually holds the cards in Newcastle's favour. And as well, 2 things. Eddie Howe wants him to stay. The owner wants him to stay. And equally, Alexander Isak has constantly said how happy he is at Newcastle United and to ignore the speculation. He's told Newcastle fans on multiple occasions that. So for me, it's not even a concern. I'm not even worried. Like if we don't get, it's not for me. Oh, we don't get Champions League football. Isak's going to leave. I'm not worried at all because Isak will stay this summer. There's no doubt about it.
Do you see him going, Josh? What's your take on Isak? Like, if they don't get Champions, I think they get it, by the way. But if they don't get it, can you see the raid? And Chelsea and Liverpool fans, like, what are you saying? Are you actually serious about this one? Do you think that he could go?
I think, again, hard to comment. I don't know if Isak, don't know his perfect. Like, I'll be honest, is he a player? So if I was talking about Ollie Watkins and he was linked to Arsenal, I'd be looking at going, we've heard voices that Watkins was disappointed that Villa rejected the Arsenal bid, but we had to because of John Duran, and we couldn't have been left with no strikers with 3 days to go. So we know he's a Arsenal fan, X, Y, and Z. Whether Ollie goes or not, that's a different conversation. However, Pete, Isak, I have no idea how he sits, how he lies, his ambition, focus, happiness or not. But from the outside, I'd probably say that the Newcastle project winning a trophy, that there must be enough for him to want to stay again and go again and do Champions League and do it all again and see hopefully some signings. I think the biggest thing that lets Newcastle down, and I'll be honest with Newcastle fans, is that I've always said this, is that your transfer windows have sucked for the last couple of investments. And if you're a player at Newcastle, the only thing that would turn my head is going, where are we going? Why are we not making signings? Is PSR going to hinder me? Is my career going to stall? Is my team going to develop? We've got some great players, but everyone knows you've got to keep investing to keep the star players happy. So that's how I feel with Newcastle is if you're not going to invest and Isak sees another quiet window coming up, he may just knock on Eddie's door and go, do you know what? Where are we going here as a club? I need to get out. So, yeah.
You made a great point, Josh. Absolutely. With regards to the situation with Newcastle, it's not necessarily Isak, but and it's not just Isak as well. It'll be all the top players. It'll be Isak. It'll be Bruno. It'll be Tonali. It'll be Sven Botman now he's back fit and playing. Like they're looking at this and going, okay, we've not signed a first team ready player, and a lot of fans outside of Newcastle don't realise this. Look at what Villa have done in the last 3 windows. Look at what Forest have done in the last 3 windows. Chelsea, more so than anybody. We've not signed one first-team player, and we're still fighting there. And that's the amazing thing about it all. But you're right. These players are probably looking around and going, okay, we're fighting at this table now where we're fighting for Champions League. What have you got for us? And this is why. And you wouldn't have seen it because you probably wouldn't have watched any Eddie Howe's press conferences. For the first time since he's managed Newcastle United, he's normally quite cagey on this sort of stuff. He's been very open in saying, no PSR issues. We are going to strengthen this summer. And that's not like Eddie Howe to say that. And that's what fills me with confidence. 1, that Isak stays regardless. And 2, that we are going to actually sign players this summer that we're all excited about because we have to invest in this team. We can't just skimp across again for another season because you're right. Isak will go. Where's the ambition? We want to play at the top. Like Bruno Guimaraes had an interview with the Premier League the other day, and or it might have been Sky, I think it was. And he's talking about he believes Newcastle at some point in the future can win the Premier League. He wants to win the Premier League. How can we do that if we're not investing in the team? So I think you're absolutely spot on, and we will invest in the team this season. And I think that
will you lose anyone, Pete? Because Bruno got linked to Saudi today, didn't he? I don't know how true it was, but
he's always linked with different clubs. Gordon yesterday was linked with Arsenal and Chelsea. All our top players have always constantly been linked with other teams. Like we had not long ago, Botman, even though he was injured, still linked with PSG. Like it happens. It's always going to happen. But if we lose somebody, it won't be, in my opinion, like Alexander Isak. It won't be Sandro Tonali. It won't be Bruno Guimaraes.
Do you think Gordon could go? Do you think he could go?
It could be a Gordon. Nobody knows that situation. If you're asking me right now, will he stay? I think he'll be here next season. Absolutely. He's just signed a new contract in October and November time. I think he'll be here. But that'll be the type of player that will leave, where he will go. We've still got Harvey Barnes, and we'll then invest heavily in another left winger, because there's a lot of good, very good left wingers out there at the moment. And I think that's the type of trade-off that Newcastle will do, but not with their top level players that are pushing them right up to the top. So, this conversation is going to rumble on with the likes of Isak and various others. It is because they're top players. They're going to be linked. You just talked about it, Josh, with the likes of Watkins, and you had it with Duran, and before he left, and you're going to get it with you got it with Martinez currently. Is he going to go? Is he going to stay? We're lucky.
He's gone, bro. He's gone.
We've got. He probably is, but Wolfie, you got the same conversation, regardless of what fans feel about him with Gibbs White. Callum Hudson-Odoi has been linked to moves away. Like, you're going to get that with good quality players that you've got in your team. It's par of the course, really. You just got to accept it. But for me, Isak stays regardless. Don't bet against, if Newcastle get Champions League football and we invest in 3 or 4 top players to add to this team, don't bet against it at the beginning of the season. Alexander Isak signing an extension. Don't bet against it.
Interesting. We got still 500 in here, but only 138 likes. Guys, if you want your team to make it, let us know. Let us know by hitting that like button. And I've made life easier for you, right? If you look in the pinned comments right now, you can sub to Pete over on Loaded Mag, sub to Josh as well. Just click the link. It's in the pinned comment at the top of the live chat. You can see all your live comments are coming up here in the bottom right as well. All right, let's get into the crux of this, boys. I've been delaying this because I know it's going to get ugly, right? Let's talk serious now. Right, I'm going to put my cards on the table here, and I'm going to piss one of you off and please one of the other. Can we all come to a consensus first, right? We all want Chelsea out. Is everyone happy with Chelsea out?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, chat. Anyone not want Chelsea out? Let me know in the comments, right? So Chelsea done. I mean, that has to happen for any chance for me anyway, right? I'm looking at your 2 games, and you guys know I have love for both your teams, right? And I just think if one of them's going to mess up, I think it's going to be Villa, Josh. If I'm being real with you, because my hatred for United is so big, right, that it would almost be tainted if United are the reason I get into the Champions League, and I'll have Cass and Nick and all them men just telling me about that, and I won't get to live it down. But putting that aside, your track record at United, I think if United win today, it's better for you, personally. Yeah. I'm justifying it that way in my mind, right?
Same.
I think if they lose, they have to put in at least one performance for that plastic fan base of theirs on that final day. And I don't even think they beat you, but a draw would be enough. I look at the Everton game for Newcastle, and I just think Newcastle have too much. Will Newcastle crack under the pressure? I would say if this was the reverse fixture, and this was I would say, Pete, you are lucky. Because if this was the final fixture at Goodison, then I wouldn't even make you favourites for it, because they would have to go out and win this. I just think they did their job last week at Goodison, and whatever happens is a bonus. What I will say is, if either your 2 clubs takes the lead, the other team gives up. I don't see an Everton or a United putting a massive fight to go back and think, oh, well, we need 2 goals now to win it. So I think in your games, the first goal dictates who wins it. In my game, it could be different. Obviously, Chelsea are playing for something, and so are Forest. So that's how I read it, Josh. That glare you're giving me is ugly, bro. I'm not saying I don't want you to get it, and I'm saying we will do the favor. What I actually think happens is that one of you will mess up, but Forest will mess up, so we don't get in, and then I'll be even more angry that had we won our game, we would get in. That's my big worry. So there's my cards on the table. Josh, I'll let you, you better say something. That look is scaring me. That look is scaring me, bro.
Damn, awesome. Damn right. Let's put it real. Yeah, let's put it real about Villa. Okay, so yeah, we all know our track record at Old Trafford is absolutely terrible. We all know that Man United is our second bogey team. But we have to talk in the now, we have to talk in the moment, and we have to talk about what's relevant. Aston Villa have just done 3 back-to-back clean sheets. We've hit clean sheet form at the right time. We couldn't clean sheet for toffee or love or money in January and February. Honestly, teams like Ipswich were scoring past us, and it was getting embarrassing. You know, at a point, I probably said I would put money on Southampton beating us in that really dodgy stage. Yeah. 3 back-to-back clean sheets. With winning games 1-0, and we're looking like these sort of mentality monsters that we're going to win ugly. We're going to dig deep. We don't need to play well. We know what it counts. We just need 3 points. But yes, if you take out our horrible away defeat at the Etihad, where they scored in the 90 plus whatever minute, an actual disaster class, who's a Chelsea player, not an Aston Villa player. And let me just keep reminding people on this. A Chelsea player absolutely wronged us again. So you know, that's Agent Disasi. Well done, Chelsea. If that's how the way you got to qualify by sending your crap to us, we're idiots for falling for it. Go back, our last away defeat. When do you reckon? When do you reckon our last away defeat was? Palace. That horrible result at Palace back in February. Okay. So when we're talking about Villa on the road, we're talking about a Villa team who, you know, pretty much are getting the job done, are keeping clean sheets. You know, we are not. For me, I've watched this Villa change in the last couple of weeks since that ugly performance in the FA Cup. Do you know what we've done? We've rolled up our sleeves and we've said it's time to win dirty and ugly. We're not trying to play pretty football anymore. We've actually taken a leaf out of your book a bit, Wolfie, of Forest. We've actually taken, you know, your early season.
You don't want to take our recent leaf, bro.
No, I don't. No, none of that rubbish. So I have to look. I'm not going to sit here and say we're losing at Old Trafford. What's the point in even watching the game? What's the point in watching the game? If I'm sat here not believing we're going to win at Old Trafford, there's no point in enjoying the last game of the season. We've got to win there. We've got to hope Forest do it. And so ultimately, it is Chelsea who miss out. And maybe you as well, Wolfie. But I don't
think...
you're
turning on me, bro. You're turning on me.
Because I've just done the points in my head. I thought you, for some strange reason, I thought you're on 66 as well. But you're not, are you?
I should be on 68, man.
Yeah, and this is the thing. Even if you win and we win and Newcastle win, Wolfie, because the alliance could be strong. We could all be chuffed on the final day of the season, right? But it's not enough for you, is it? That's the issue, Wolfie.
Yeah, but I sort you out with that. Don't you dare ever forget that, right? So if that does happen, I'm getting cooked left, right, and center. You're my bodyguard, bro.
I'm your lawyer. I'm your solicitor. I'm your bodyguard. I'm your FBI. Whatever you need, Wolfie, I'm there. If you get me UCL because you've done the business and everyone else does, then we're going to be good and fine with that. So yeah, I could see that there, Wolfie. All 3 of us genuinely could win on the final day.
Yeah, I just think a lot in the chat, and I agree with them, are saying the Jewett rule. Because I was talking to my mates about this, and I was like, Villa, for me, look the best team in form at the moment in the league. For me, the way you're playing, especially that Spurs game, I remember I was talking to you at half-time, Josh, in that one. I was like, you'll be fine. Just stop overcrossing the ball into the box. You'll break them down. I just think you stayed professional, whereas some other teams who are in less form would have probably felt the pressure in that game and not scored in that second half. So that was like, I thought that was an important point. But I am superstitious with these things. And I just think, are you due a crack? And does that not play in your mind? You almost prefer to go into a bit more mixed form going into this game just because, like, that Jewett rule, man, it rears its ugly head at the wrong time.
I have to let you guys know, we've already had it. Crystal Palace FA Cup semi-final. That was our one, people, because we came into that game again in really good form. Go and look at the form before that Crystal Palace FA Cup game. Everything was looking rosy. Unfortunately, we cracked on that day. And that's where I said, we've rolled up our sleeves again and said, no. So, look, with you, I know people are wishing something. And I get it. People are looking at Old Trafford record. But you have to, I think you both would agree here. Don't records go out on the last game of the season? Don't you believe that?
When there's nothing to play for. Yeah. That's the difference, Josh.
Do you reckon? Even when there's I just think it's just the absolute lottery last game of the season. look, there's going to be drama, and that's the beauty of it. Let's just, I'm going to get it in early. Let's just hope a correct referee doesn't have anything to say to protect the Cartel 6. That's all I'm going to say early. You know what I'm saying? Because there is not an end of the Premier League season where we have to have controversy. That's the sad thing of it.
You two need to worry about that. You two need to be worried about that, especially you, Wolfie, with Chelsea.
They've sent out the big guns, bro.
Man United don't necessarily need to play for anything, but you've always got a knack of that happening at Old Trafford. Like I say, those visions that I talked about earlier of as a potential penalty, a handball or something. If there's any sort of question mark on it, you know it's getting given. You know it's getting given against you. With Chelsea, it's exactly the same. You know what it's like. Chelsea gets so many decisions for them.
Especially with Anthony Taylor, bro. Someone said he's the one who sent Duran off. Taylor's a clown. He's the bloke that sent Duran off at St. James's. He accidentally stood on someone. It was acts of brutality, apparently. Do you not remember that one?
I wouldn't say it was accidental, but I'm probably going to have a different opinion to because I didn't feel it was accidental. Because I can't
remember it. I can't remember it.
They were fighting. They were fighting before that incident happened. So.
And you did lose to City more recently.
No, I said that. I said we lost to City heartbreakingly in the 90 plus whatever minutes that should have been drawn. And as it's been clear, we lost to City because of Axel Disasi. So I've absolutely pulled that one out. I've pulled that one out. So you go back to the Crystal Palace one, but that Man City result. Imagine if we drew to Man City. Again, all these connotations. That's another game I look at more recently. If we were on 67 points. Different, absolutely different. But the alliance is crumbling.
It's cracks.
Bad, really,
There's a few cracks, right? We're not gonna lie here. There's a couple of cracks. All right, let's do the real ugly question, right? Who's missing out? Chat, get your two teams that are missing out. I don't really want to read this, man, but
the chat's got this, haven't they? They got this. They know what to do best.
Yeah, I just I don't know, man. I don't know, Pete. What are you saying, man? Who misses out?
I think Chelsea miss out purely because I think you win.
Yeah. This is the big one.
Yeah, because it's just whether it's. For me, obviously, I think you'll do your job, Wolfie, because I think you'll get the 3 points. I think Newcastle will get it because I think we'll beat Everton. So I think it will just be a case of can Villa win at Old Trafford? And I don't know why, but I just feel like you're going to draw.
That'd be worse.
And that would
I'd rather get thrashed. I'd rather get thrashed. I'd actually rather United put 6 past us than a draw.
And you know what? and you know what? I think if you do draw, I feel like I'm sort of kicking you while you're down here because you like you just said you'd rather get thrashed. I think if you do draw, I think it's going to be late that they equalise as well.
Don't do that to me.
I don't know why. I've had this feeling for a while. Even when Wolf, even when we spoke to Rich as well, I've had this opinion of Villa, they've been on a great form. But someone said it the other day, and I thought it was quite interesting. Is that these two games with Spurs and Man United on paper would have looked like really tough games, but because of their form, everyone's now thinking they're going to be easy games. Not necessarily you, Josh, but just fans in general think they're easy games. And I just feel like you're not going to win both. So the fact that you beat Tottenham, it makes me feel like you're not going to win on Sunday. And I think that I actually believe that will be the difference of who gets it out of Forest and Villa, because I think Forest will win, but it's whether you can win. And at the moment, I could feel very differently in a couple of days' time, but at the moment, I feel like you're going to draw there. I don't know why.
So just to put the numbers on, Pete.
The form doesn't give you anything to suggest that you're going to, but you know what Man United are like, and I know we hammer them all the time for being absolutely shit and rubbish. They get battered every week, but you know they've just got it in them to just pull out a game like that, particularly at home. And that's why I just can't be convinced that you're going to win. And that's where I'm at, boys. I think Newcastle get in. I think Man City are sorted, and I think it'll be a case of the other one will be either you, Forest, or Villa.
Bro, you can't say that. I need one. Don't do this.
No. So I think Villa are going to draw.
Okay.
So I think Forest will end up getting it, but that's based on how I'm feeling right now.
All right.
That's my gut feeling.
So your points would basically be, just looking at the board next to us here. So you would go to 69, Villa would go to 67, and we go to 68. So you're saying Josh misses out by one, ends up in Europa, and in your scenario, Chelsea then have to win the Conference League, or they're in the Conference League again as well.
That's
Because
correct.
Chelsea will be 7th.
Right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Because they have to then go on and win it. Wow.
Do you know what? If that happens, Pete,
And they'll lose that final. They'll lose that final, by the way.
at least Josh, that would be a silver lining, like the cooking level if they end up in the Conference
They're losing
League.
that final.
Yeah,
I love
Anthony,
that
innit?
chant. I can see the chant. I don't know. I just looked at United's form again, even at home. They've lost to West Ham at home 2-0 West Ham. What West Ham? I don't care. They had a final on the horizon. The West Ham game was, where there's still a bit of space in between that. I can't find a Manchester United result outside of Europe that makes me look at them and go, I'm scared. So
They beat City.
I get it.
It's Palace beat City though. Palace beat
But
City.
Josh, this is I'm not even saying about the whole forget Forest Newcastle thing. But this United team does the most annoying thing at the most annoying time, bro. They won the FA Cup when they shouldn't have last season. They kicked Newcastle out of Europe by scumbagging their way to that FA Cup. They should have lost to Coventry.
They've got to stay relevant every once a season. They have their moment. Their relevance is tonight. That's it. Their relevance is tonight. Then it's done. All right. So I know you'll find that spin, but I'm sorry. We do beat them at Old Trafford. And whoever needs to fall below us on 69 points, so be it. We'll favour you. I'm really sorry. We'll owe you back. We'll send you someone like Jacob Ramsey for like 40 million or something. I don't know. We'll give you a player. Just you scratch out.
Give me Rodgers. Give me Rodgers.
Yeah, something like that. But you just need to realise we're going to finish on 69, and whoever doesn't finish on 69, brilliant. And do you know what? I'm not even ruling this out. We're going to finish. In fact, let me just quote this. We'll finish above Man City as well this season. You
think they lose to Fulham?
Yeah, they do lose to Fulham. They do lose to Fulham. Ask Daps. He hates Fulham away. Hates that fixture.
If they lose to Fulham, my hatred for Bournemouth goes to the next level.
What do they need then?
They can miss out. They can miss out, by the way, boys. But
can they? Yeah. What's that possibility?
Okay, I don't really want to bring this up because the only way they miss out is if I miss out, right? I'm just saying, right? That's the only thing. So if Chelsea, Villa, Newcastle win, and City,
and they lose.
I don't even think they need to lose. A draw.
No goal difference.
The goal difference. Yeah. So they lose to Fulham, then Forest a 7th, Man City a 6th. I'm not there for it, but I would have fucking Bournemouth, man. I swear to God.
Yeah, delete that club now. But that's so. There's loads of connotation. It's brilliant. It's going to be a fun final day of the season.
I'm not looking forward to this, boys. I'm not.
And it will be tears in every aspect: joy, sorrow, the hopium. It's going to be mad. Late, as Pete said, I think someone could get done by a dirty late goal that would really just, as I said, I'll be really real. This isn't me bantering. I'd rather get stuffed 6-0 and know that it was ripped away in the first half. I'd rather be 4-0 down and know it's all gone than have a United late equaliser. Do you know what I mean? That's just that's the
the
way
hope
I'm sort
that
of looking
kills
at
you,
it.
bro. It's the hope that kills you.
Yeah.
But, there we go.
All right. Well, we've all got one eye on this evening's game. So we're going to get ready for that. We're on 177, like still 450 in here. Big up to all you guys in the chat. Don't be lazy, right? The link is pinned in the chat. I've made it easy for you. Go make sure you subscribe to Pete's channel, to Josh's channel as well. All you got to do is click that link. The hyperlink takes you there. Hit subscribe. Bang. It's done. Nice and simple. I think we'll reconvene and see what happens. We've got videos coming out tomorrow. We've got the run-in on Friday. I think Josh is on there, and I think it's Geordie this week. Specs repping. He's going to come with some chest. But yeah, so we'll be back for that one on Friday. You boys got anything coming up in the next few days?
We have. We've got the big match preview tomorrow, 6:30. With
Who are you doing it with?
We've got Mike from the Unholy Trinity. We always have him on. He's a good lad, and it's someone that we know quite well. So he'll be talking all things about Everton, giving us the lowdown on the injury situation, and we'll be talking about our possibility of getting Champions League football. Thank you to all the subscribers. We can see them coming through on the channel. Massively appreciate it. Keep your eyes peeled, because there's going to be so much coming after, just like Wolfie and Josh, with regards to the transfer window. We've got some big guests coming on. So going through to the end of May, June is going to be busy for Loaded Mag and FC, that's for sure.
Can I just say, Carol, I see you said you subscribed to Pete. What about Josh? How about poor Josh, man? Like, what are you saying? I know she has. I know she has, but she's right.
Yes, more. It may already be.
What you got coming up, Josh? Josh has been knocking out the videos, man. Like transfer stuff and everything. Cracking out.
Inspired by Wolfie.
Yeah, we've had a chat.
He's had a chat off air with me. He's told me to pull my finger out, so I've listened. No, I'm doing the watch along. I hate to say this, I'm cheering on Man U tonight. I'm doing it on Big Up. And then just literally the countdown. Keep reminding myself that we're going to win at Old Trafford. I've said it in my sleep. I'm convinced myself. And if I say it enough times, I go blue in the face to know that we'll win at Old Trafford. So that's what you're going to see from me. Just whether we will disappear after the final game of the season. A bit of a hiatus. Nice to have a break, isn't it? Sometimes as a content creator, well, it'd be nice to celebrate. Depends where you are. But big up to everyone, and enjoy the chat as always.
Yeah, we're going to send you over to Hussein, who's doing a watch along for it. I think he's kicking off at 2:15. So all the Geordies, right? Because he put those stupid cherry signs in my chat. Go in there and remind him who won that Carabao Cup and who you beat, because he's a Liverpool fan, right? So just at least put a note in his comments to say, hold that, and let him know you're a Geordie as well. And Forest fans, just tell him he's an Arab twat, because I can say that I'm Arab as well. It's fine. All right, we will see you guys tomorrow. There is a transfer video out on a potential Morgan Gibbs White replacement. So if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out. And let's get this week out of the way, boys. I can't. Thank you for watching. Come on, you Reds.